and I'm in charge of all things Rose Parade this year, which includes the Farm Ambassador Program. And I made this quick little video to go over the packet and try to answer any questions that you might have. So let's start with the rendering of the float. So this is the float for Cal Poly, and as you can see, it's astronauts and aliens, and the title is Far Out Frequencies. The theme of this year's Rose Parade is Melody of Life. So most of the floats have some kind of theme with music and how to communicate with music and how music is involved in our lives. Anyway, so let's go over the packet. You should have received this in PDF format, and I'm going to go over it with you now. So some of the basics. First of all, welcome. Thank you very much. We couldn't do this program without volunteers. So thank you, thank you. So let's see. So this is going to go over with where you need to go, what you need to wear, etc., etc. So first things first, the entries that are going to be certified this year as California Grown are the Cal Poly University's FTD cars, which are the official parade cars that carry the Grand Marshals and Tournament of Rose's staff and officials. The Tournament of Rose's Pasadena Police motorcycles, Blue Diamond Almonds, Wells Fargo stagecoaches, Blue Shadows mounted drill team, mini therapy horses, California Highway Patrol mounted unit. The official address of Rosemount Pavilion, where most of this will be taking place, is 700 Seco Street, and there's parking in Lot H, I, or J. And then I also have here listed the main contacts that you can contact. I'm Anna Kellens, and you have my cell phone here. Misty will be there for the first half of the volunteer shifts, I believe Friday and Saturday, and then Linda will be there Sunday and Monday. Let's go, and then here's some lovely photos so you can identify us. There's Misty and Linda and Casey. And then over here I have listed the shifts. Please let me know if I have you in the incorrect slot. Please note that I do need a few more people for Saturday morning and Saturday, not Saturday PM, but Saturday morning. So if you have any friends that have not signed up that might be interested, this is the time to ask them. Please arrive a little bit early to check in to get a brief introduction and some training. Also, what will be happening Saturday is we're going to be doing the certification for Equifest, which is at the Los Angeles Equestrian Center. So that will be a separate, I'm going to ask a few of the ambassadors that are working on Saturday to see if they'd like to come help with that special certification. Alrighty, so they're pretty basic here. AM shift is 9 to 1, and the PM shift is 1 to 5. So there's Friday and Saturday. Then on the next page we've got Sunday, and then we've got Monday. And Monday morning transitions into Monday afternoon, where we do the actual certification of the floats. That starts at 2 o'clock, and I will go over that schedule in a little bit later. In terms of what to wear, you really want to go with layers, because some years we've had it be 90 degrees. And inside the building, Rosemount could be very cold. Other years it has been absolutely freezing, and you need to wear a scarf and hats and mittens and just to stand. So very much so varies. I believe this year, probably just looking at trending of what the weather's been like, I think it might be pretty cool in the mornings and warm up during the days, depending. So food provided, I will have a bunch of snacks in our big crate. There will be bottled water available, power bars, stuff like that to keep you going. But Cal Poly will also be providing lunch for the ambassadors that are there during lunchtime. So feel free to just ask where the lunch tent, I'll show you guys where that is, or one of the other lead ambassadors, Linda or Misty, can show you where that is. But yeah, Cal Poly has graciously allowed us to use their food tent for any snacks, and they've got hot water and whatnot. They've got lots of good stuff over there. In terms of where to go, so I have this little map here This is the Rose Bowl Stadium. This is the main road that comes in, and then Rosemount Pavilion is this little building. So if you bring it up on Google Maps, you'll be able to see and kind of this will kind of give you some orientation. Rosemount Pavilion is there. There's a baseball field next to it. This is Lot I, and that's cement parking. And then across the street over here is Lot H, and that is like a grass field. And then there's a small, tiny lot here that's J. That's also pretty easy to and accessible. My recommendation would be either H or I. Okay? When you first arrive, you need to go to the Cal Poly check-in tent, which will be outside of the gated area. Basically, this is the Rosemount Pavilion, and it's fenced off completely around because the public is not allowed in unless they've paid for a tour or are with a tour group or other special circumstances. So you do need to have a special wristband to get access into the gate. So Cal Poly's tent last year was out here, and I imagine it'll be probably the same. It'll be out here. Here will be a small parking lot with a whole bunch of dumpsters and parade vehicles. There are a lot of people walking on these sidewalks. Just be prepared. You know, you'd think that there wouldn't be that many people, but there's a lot of people just milling around. Over the course of Deco Week which what they call the days that they lead up to building the floats. There's about 50,000 visitors that come view the floats and the Rose Bowl Stadium and visit all the concession stands that are there. So it's a lot of people. So be prepared. It's going to be pretty crowded and hectic. And anyways, so at Cal Poly check-in, you just give them your name, let them know that you're a farm ambassador with the CCFC, and they will have a special list of the volunteers, and they'll be able to check you off and give you a wristband. And note also that every day you need a new wristband. All right, and then you proceed in. I've been told that I believe the Cal Poly's float will be on the end here. Blue Diamond will also be in Rosemont Pavilion, and as well as the FTD cars. That will be all happening along with AES is the float decorating company. They will be decorating other floats in that building as well. Here's some directions on how to get there. If you're staying with us at the Embassy Suites in Glendale, these are the directions on how to get there. Pretty straightforward. If you're coming from the other direction, I've got some directions here. So, but most of us have Google Maps or Waze or anyways. Here we go. You parked. Now what? I went over. You know, you need to go in and get your wristband. And then in terms of you'll get your t-shirt when you first arrive, and you need to wear that for every day. Let's see, anything else? We have an armband, like the football wristlet. It's like goes around your wrist, and it's got like a little flap, and it's got like the facts on there if you want that. Or if you want to just memorize some of the facts, you can feel free to ask the students. If a visitor asks you a question that you don't know, the students are very knowledgeable about the float process, and feel free to just kind of pull them for those kind of questions. In terms of the questions that you might get, I've listed frequently asked questions here, but also if you want to find out more about the 2019 Rose Parade, you can go here to the link here. Here's the frequently asked questions that you will get over and over and over again. You'll get a script going very, very quickly. Anyways, the float is called Far Out Frequencies. It's about astronauts that travel to deep space and meet aliens, can't communicate with language, so they decide to communicate with music. What makes this a certified California grown float? Well, it has to have 85% or more of the cut flowers and foliage need to be California grown. And Cal Poly always strives to have as much as possible as they can. And this year we've made it over 90%. In terms of how many flowers are used on the float, in total amount of stems, it's about 38,000 stems of flowers that are being used on the float, with over 90% of them being California grown. This includes, this will cover 2,700 square feet. Almost 7,000 of stems are California grown roses, 7,300 stems are California grown gerbs, 3,200 are irises, 1,200 are chrysanthemums, and 1,000 plus are California grown protea. What are the top 5 California flowers being used in terms of quantity? It's chrysanthemums, roses, gerberas, irises, and protea. How many farms? We had 21 farms generously donated. And other products that are being used to decorate the float is quite interesting. Ask the students again to confirm, but there's usually rice powder, lentils, oats, onion seeds, and you can ask some of the students to kind of point out some of the more unusual dry ingredients that you see. A lot of it's ground up and you can't quite tell what it is, but just ask the student and they can point it out to you. This year the students will also be incorporating a lot of produce. A large portion of the purple of the float will be actually cabbage that's been cut a certain way and then soaked in water, and they open up into these giant, like, purple alien-looking flowers. So I'm very excited to see how that turns out. And then some just general dimensions of how tall the float is: 27 feet tall. How wide? It's 18 feet wide and 54 feet long. A lot of people ask, like, what's going to be moving on the float. It's going to include the one astronaut strumming a guitar and tapping his foot and bobbing his head, the 2 aliens playing an accordion, another attempting to lift the tuba off his head, and much more. There's usually a lot of fun little whimsical things that are going on. Cal Poly is pretty heavy in engineering as well as ag, and so they really have a lot of cool animation that they do. What's the theme of the 2019 Tournament of Roses? It's Melody of Life, and this is the 130th year of the Tournament of Roses parade. And then last but not least, we'd love to have everyone that can join us on Certification Day. That is on Monday afternoon. It starts at 2. We'll be certifying the Blue Diamond Float first, and the California Department of Food and Agriculture Secretary Karen Ross is going to be flying down from San Clemente to certify these floats. And the certification will be going from about 2 o'clock to 4, and then we have a nice little reception starting at 4 o'clock. And I will send you guys an invitation to that as well. If you're welcome to attend that. There'll be a little bit of a demonstration of the Cal Poly, a presentation from Cal Poly students about what the float means to them. And we will be presenting Karen Ross a award for all the years of her support. And we're hoping to have quite a few legislators there as well. So that about wraps up what I have to share with you. Feel free to email me with any questions or call me. And yeah.